Facebook, Roku, and Comcast Channel 190. Welcome to another episode of What You Gotta Say. It is Freestyle Friday. We've got comedian Sandy Hackett, and the title for this week, Slap You Silly. We're going to talk about some people who have gotten slapped, and of course, we're bringing in our favorite pimp slapper, Will Smith. We'll be right back in just 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Okay, we're out.
All right.
Don't forget that you have the stream currently going, so we are still live to Facebook, YouTube, and all that. Okay. Even
Okay,
in
so
between the
everybody's
breaks.
Facebook, YouTube, Roku, welcome to the in-between commercial segments. That's where people who don't pay get to see what's really happening. All right, Chaz, I got Disney pick. I got slap. It keeps on slapping pick. From there, we're going to Mike Tyson's video. Karen is a video, 38-year-old. We're by that time we're going to take a break and go to the young woman named Valerie Victoria.
Yep.
Good.
So it should be New Jersey, Florida, Chris Rock, and then Deion Jones.
Sanders. Yeah, Deion Jones is a total unknown person that you're about to make famous. Okay, for those of you on Facebook, that hidden voice is my producer, Chaz, the man. He is the best producer in the business, people. And don't look at hiring him. He's not under contract, but don't try to hire.
You are too kind. All right, 30-second warning, and we will come back with you and Sandy.
Sandy, you ready?
I'm ready. I have some image behind me. I have no idea where it came from. It's some guy's pool. I'm just waiting to see, like on Zoom, where naked people walk by and get into the jacuzzi.
That would really, really change the dynamics of our rating system with the show.
Yes, and then we, I've been practicing what to say in the event of that happens. Oops.
Oops.
No. My apologies.
You guys ready? I'm going to count you down from 5, stopping at 3.
Let's go totally Oz on it. Don't pay attention to that naked person walking in the background.
Live in 5, 4, 3.
Okay, welcome back to Freestyle Friday. As always, we have comedian extraordinaire, the great Sandy Hackett. Sandy, how you doing?
Vincent, I'm good. I missed you last week. It was Good Friday.
I know. Look, everybody got on me about it.
You just, Good Friday shows up and you go, we're off.
Okay, see, what had happened was my producer said, it's Good Friday. My wife said, it's Good Friday. Why are you doing a show? Then, I have an arena football team. They were all yelling, it's Good Friday. None of you people have ever acknowledged any level of spirituality, Christianity, Judaism, theism, monkism, Hinduism, or Muslim. But now, Good Friday, everybody wanted off except for me and you, Sandy.
And I'm just going to tell you, it wasn't that good a Friday.
What?
I was looking forward to doing the show.
Ran out of gefilte fish?
It's Passover. We don't have gefilte fish for Passover.
Oh, that's right. Lamb. Ooh. Yes, look.
They closed the lake.
We got to talk because I've got a Mediterranean lamb dish that's just to die for. So whenever you're on the East Coast, because you're in California, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So before Sandy changed the screens, I noticed that in your backdrop, you had like a gold record. What's that all about?
Oh, my wife's father was one of America's great songwriters. His name was Ron Miller.
Ooh.
And Ron Miller has a music catalog of about 500 songs with Sony that my wife is now, it took her a 14-year battle to reclaim. And she got half of them back and the others come due. It's a long process. But we've got about, couple dozen, 3 dozen gold records hanging in the house, and then she's got even more hanging in her office. But he wrote For Once in My Life, Touch Me in the Morning, If I Could, Yesterday, Someday Christmas, Heaven Help Us All, I've Never Been to Me, and many, many others.
Wow. I mean, he is responsible for about maybe 70% of the inventory in our music period called the Romance era, where big band meets balladeers.
I've never heard it put that way, but that's fine by me. He has Sony calls his music catalog a legacy catalog, which are the older artists whose stuff is still being used today. For instance, For Once in My Life, which is one of Sony's biggest played songs, sync songs, that has been recorded by over 1,000 major label artists.
Yeah, including Stevie Wonder.
Well, Stevie Wonder was the first one to have a hit with it, but Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, Michael Bolton, Michael McDonald, Michael Bublé. I mean, there are just so many artists that have recorded that wonderful song. And one of my favorite versions is my son, who graduates in just a few weeks from NYU, Oliver Richmond. And you can go onto YouTube and see his version. He did a 50th anniversary version. And it was originally written as a ballad. And then Stevie came in and said, Ron, baby, you got to hit this up. That's the worst Stevie Wonder you've ever heard, by the way. I don't do Stevie.
You want to see bad? You should talk to me about my Godfather impersonation. But, okay. So
anyway, the long story short is that I am blessed. My wife's father, one of America's great songwriters, actually in the 60s, you know, the kind of songwriter, a modern day Shakespeare. I mean, he was just a poet with words, an incredible lyricist and songwriter.
He was. In fact, in terms of studying music, your father-in-law is an actual category or applied theory of music and poems and writing. He has what they call one of those troubled souls that has a level of expression that makes people understand and relate to it. For Once in My Life that we talked about is, you know, it's about a person finding what we've all needed, love, that person who is just for me.
I agree. And I was fortunate enough to meet Ron and know him, I guess, several years before he passed away. And but his music is still out there, and especially like around Christmas time, you know. And my wife, when I first met her, we'd go somewhere and you go to a Starbucks and she go, "Oh, that's my dad's song playing," and I'm going, "For once," and I go, "No, that's Stevie Wonder." She goes, "No, my dad wrote that." And I didn't know. Now I know and defend him vigorously, but he wrote that in so many wonderful songs. And now my wife is managing that catalog. And my wife is also an incredible singer. And so is my son. So, you know, and during the pandemic, when our work shut down, we would just take the gold record to Starbucks and get coffee.
Well, listen, times get really hard. Why don't we just start bringing some of your wife recordings on our Freestyle Friday, and we can all be blessed by her balladeering.
Oh my goodness! And she's written 100 songs, and she's got a whole Christmas catalog. She's an amazing talent. She's much more talented than I am, and an incredibly beautiful voice. And if you want to see for yourself, you can go to Lisa Dawn Miller.com and see her and listen to her music. But we can get some songs on here. You know, I may have to cook for her or something, but we'll see.
Well, you're doing good with the cooking. Me, it takes foot massages for my wife. By the way, I may be under the impression that our producer Chaz is writing a book about, you know, working with me. So don't be surprised if, you know, you hear from his editor.
Ah, okay.
But so Freestyle Friday. Let's talk about big slaps. Okay, so New Jersey yesterday posted its free weed. I mean, not free weed, but unlicensed weed, which means you don't need, it's for recreational purposes, which means you don't have to do like some of us and get a doctor's approval to buy weed for medical. Now it's just for public use, public enjoyment, and get stoned, and now legal. So It's free. And what we found out is that under all of the other states that have been doing legalized marijuana, they got a lot of money in taxes. Sandy, there's a lot of people lighting up.
I'm not one of them, so and I'm not really familiar with that. I've never tried marijuana. Never been a drug person.
What? You never went to college during the 60s and 70s?
I went to college. I just didn't. I didn't do. I didn't smoke grass.
No, me either. So I think we're both in that same category. So, but all right. Speaking of weed and big slaps, Florida is now slapping Disney because Disney slapped Florida about the "Don't Say Gay" bill.
Yes.
So, yeah, Governor Ron DeSantis now has went to the lawmakers, and the state voted to revoke Disney's special designation to run their state. Now, this is a pushback on Disney saying that they have problems with the "Don't Say Gay." You say something, Sandy?
Is there a question?
Oh no, just jump right on in.
Well, okay. First of all, let's cover everything that you let's unpack as I hear on talk radio all the time. Let's unpack this. So DeSantis puts out this bill, which is anti-gay, which I believe it is. We don't want to teach anybody. We want anyone to disguise it. That, well, we don't want young people to know. But if you're gay, you're gay. If you're not gay, you're not gay, or whatever you are. And why does everybody? Why do Republicans and people like DeSantis want to tell people what they are or aren't, or when they can or cannot learn about who they may or may not be? Isn't education the key to most things? And then people get to choose for themselves. That's the first thing. That's number one. Number two is then he starts this crap with these books that these math books that he got rid of. And I was listening to a guy today who researched all the math books, went through them all, and said there is no critical race theory in the math books. It says 2 + 2 = 4. It doesn't say black 2 + white 2 equals we're not sure. It's silly.
Well, black people know what black 2 + white 2 equals.
What?
Jail time.
But so now DeSantis does this, and the guy's a bully. He's got a Napoleon complex. He wants to be what Trump was, and be a what's the word when you're in charge?
President?
No, he wants to be a dictator is what he wants to be. He wants everything to be the way he wants. And I'm forgetting the word with an A. I don't know. Boy, this is bad when I can't remember stuff. Anyway, the situation, so that you understand, and the people that are listening to this, even though he signed this law taking away Disney's special, it doesn't go into effect until June of 2023. So there's still 14, 15 months for Disney to appeal this, to take it to court. Meanwhile, Disney is the #1 employer in the state. They bring in billions of dollars in tax revenue. And theoretically, if this goes through and it were to last, then Disney no longer gets that special district and run themselves. And now the taxpayers of where they are
in Florida.
Right. They're but in these little communities.
Oh, the county. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Which are very small. I mean, one county has 12 people in it or something like that. And they're going to owe, a couple. I'm serious. It's very small. It's under 100. I don't know what the number was, but they're going to owe $1 billion. And you go, by the way, your taxes are going up. Yeah. Last year they were $640 for the year. And this year they're just $680,000.
Well, because Disney is granted special privileges to govern themselves, because they basically, that entire county, they have 93% of the actual property. They actually do things, not only tax abatements and lower tax for the under 200 people in that county, but also Disney pays for, which the taxpayers would have to pay for, security, police, electric, energy surplus.
Firemen.
And firemen.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think DeSantis thought this war through.
Well, that's has he thought anything through? Has DeSantis ever thought anything through?
Let me think about that. No. but when these couple of hundred people get this big multi-billion-dollar bill for all of these services, do you think DeSantis is going to be reelected for governor, or do you think that they're going to vote for him for president, which is what he wants to run for?
I can't imagine how this stands. I don't know who, the situations with the courts down there, and what court this goes to. Does it end up in federal court? But I don't know how you go. A company like Disney comes into your state, says, we want to do this. We're going to buy all this land. We're going to develop. And all of Disney was marshland and stuff like that. It was pretty much unusable, and they had to go in there and fix it. And just so you know, I have a kinship to this. My dad was a Disney legend. My dad was one of the celebrities they hired to be at the opening of Disney World.
Yeah.
So, to see that, DeSantis just wants to be vindictive and go, oh, you can't have a different opinion than me, so I'm going to take away your special status. But there's an awful lot of money at play here. And from my understanding, Disney has donated to him in the past, and I'm sure that'll dry up pretty quick.
Yeah, let's see him get elected without that Disney money. Let's see, you are back for a political office by the third largest media in the world. Dumbass. Come on.
Are they the third largest or are they the first largest? I think they're the largest.
They're the largest. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to run for president, I can't imagine upsetting them and wanting to go to battle with them and taking away their special whatever. And look, Disney's got a team of lawyers. They'll figure out something. This will go to the courts and stuff like that. But this isn't the end of it.
Look, team of lawyers, are you kidding? There's a cheaper way. All Disney has to do is endorse Pinocchio to run for governor. I mean, long-nosed lion Pinocchio, he would beat DeSantis with Disney backing.
They did endorse they did endorse Pinocchio, Ron DeSantis, because his nose should be getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay. So speaking of slap, the slap heard around the world. Will Smith, that slap has now turned the corner again. It's on another plane of existence in the metaverse and now in sports. Coach Deion Sanders is using the video of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock to explain complex defensive strategies.
That I'm unaware of. I saw that when you sent me the notes. I haven't seen it. I'm not sure how that translates to football unless you're standing across the scrimmage line from the other guy and go, if you try to tackle me, I will slap you. Those guys are pretty big, and you may say that, but the other guy may be bigger and slap you first. I'm not sure how that works. So how is Deion? Is it working?
Well, so far as getting a great deal of response, the defense is really responding to the slap issue or the B slap principle. And in fact, what is it? What Deion was it? The football guy that outlawed the slap?
I don't know, but they used to slap a guy's helmet.
Exactly.
And now you're not allowed to do that anymore.
No, you're not allowed to do that in pro football.
Right, but you can give him flowers. I can't slap you, but I want your attention. Here's the rose.
Well, you can wait three.
Right back. I just want to go see the quarterback.
Well, you could wait 3 days and apologize too, or spend 10 years being banned from the Oscars. I mean, whichever you want to do.
Look, Will made a mistake. At some point, I think you have to forgive people on some level. I mean, I don't know how far it goes. It'll always be a joke. It was so big, and comics will always be able to refer to it and people and stuff like that. but Will made a mistake, and now the wife is going to divorce him, and they're talking about that could be the biggest divorce ever. And and then I see things she puts out there, and I go, you guys had a very weird marriage, but everybody's marriages are weird when you get into them and start talking, the stuff about they don't talk about. So who knows?
Right. Well, hey, look, we could see Will Smith's lawsuit against his former wife if they become, if they, be divorced, and it'll be like Johnny Depp Part 2.
I watched a moment of that, and I go, celebrities, movie stars, Bill Gates getting divorced. I mean, we're all just people. We think because we have money, or you're a movie star or a celebrity or an athlete, that you're immune to some of this stuff. But, when you're at home and it's just you and the other person, who knows what goes on?
Here's the thing that I find with Bill Gates. Okay. I can see those smooth, balladeering musicians, celebrities. I can see them having an extramarital affair. I can see actors, having extramarital affairs. But Bill Gates, really? Bill, really? You're not the best looking man in the world. You don't think she's after the money, Bill? Really? Wow.
Well, I'm going to dispute you there, because he's not an ugly guy, and somehow.
Really? Oh yeah. Let's compare Bill Gates to Johnny Depp. Ladies.
Well, but then let's compare Bill Gates' money to Johnny Depp's money. And
now he's attractive. Oh yeah, look. Hey,
okay, but look, Bill is, Bill's educated. He's bright. He's well read. He's a conversationalist. When you listen to him speak in all the things and stuff like that he's done over the years, he's very bright and interesting to listen to. And I don't know the story of whatever he did, but whatever he did, he did.
Plus, he's got enough money to make straight men want to DM him. So yeah.
If that was an offer, okay.
Okay, but we'll be right back. It's Freestyle Friday with my co-host, Sandy Hackett. We'll see you in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. All right, Chaz, anytime you're ready. Chaz, are you woke?
Yeah, I'm having an issue.
Hello, Chaz.
It's frozen, so just give me just a brief second here.
Okay. Sandy, okay, I like that comment. That was nice.
Which one?
Well, first, the Bill Gates transition was pretty cool.
Well, look, it doesn't matter whether you're attractive, unattractive, money, everybody does everything. 50% divorce rate. So 50% of the population is jumping on other people.
That part is very true. Yeah. And I think that divorce rate is, especially among celebrities, is driven really hard by all these attorneys and some bitter women going, no, honey, get everything. Go like Ivanka. Get everything. Take him everything.
It's unfortunate, but are we a society? Are we a people that can be monogamous? I don't know. Some people can, but marriage was developed by religious institutions of what your relationship is supposed to be. And even in my lifetime, and probably your lifetime, marriage has changed quite a bit. When I was younger and so-and-so was living with so-and-so, oh, they're living together. They're living in sin. Now, no one even says that anymore. That living in sin has gone away. So people live with each other, and then they get married, or they don't get married, or they move on. And then you've got people that have multiple kids from different relationships.
Well, the construct or the actual framework of marriage was, yes, of course, instituted by a great deal of religious groups. But here is the thing. The principle of marriage was basically an acquisition.
Yes.
It was just used to increase the wealth of one family or another, or basically give a lot of people a lot of exposures into the other family's business. It wasn't
create peace from one neighboring tribe to another. Say, Okay, have your daughter marry my son, and we won't
Hey,
come and
Jazz,
kill you.
just keep playing. We're going to keep talking. Just go right to the audience while we're talking. Okay. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. But we turned marriage now into, oh, well, there are some people, because of the religious institution, say, okay, well, no, marriage should be about love and true love and happiness. But how much true love and happiness is there in a marriage of convenience or financial agreement or relationship?
I don't know that there's a lot. I think a lot of people get married for the wrong reasons. And I think we should be able to have relationships. And I think it starts with the education of things and how you do things and how we're trained and religious. Look, it's one thing for religion to come to, oh, you've got to be married to have children. But then you have the church where, clergy are, molesting little boys. So you go, so why do you even get an opinion about what marriage is when that's the kind of person you are? And none of us are perfect. I'm certainly not saying I'm perfect, but I can say unequivocally, I haven't molested that many little boys.
God.
And
I never disclaimer for you, Sandy. The views and opinions of Sandy Hackett.
And I never did it in the name of the church. And when we watched all those, the what was his name? The guy from Josh Hawley, talking about Ketanji Brown, about the porn and stuff like that, and the pedophiles, and that she was light on pedophiles. And I go, well, you certainly seem to know an awful lot about this, child porn and pedophiles and stuff like that. And you seem to have these great concerns for what you think, and look, that guy was at the insurrection with his hand up going, yay. Yeah. Who knows what he's done?
So you think he knows about all of this kiddie porn from his own personal research or from his own personal experience?
Well, he might have been the guy who invited Madison Cawthorn to a party. we don't know yet. We don't know who's on that guest list.
Listen, if that other guy didn't die in prison, he may have been on his invitation list in Black Book. So yeah.
Absolutely. And what you left off the list today is Marjorie Taylor Greene is testifying today.
Oh, go ahead, please, because this was one of my favorites.
Well, we haven't. You start, because we haven't seen the outcome of it yet, but we know she's lying. We know that everything she says is a lie. And look, I think I was a conservative at one time. I don't know that I would call myself a liberal, but what I am is an American, and I want what's best for the country. And I understand a dissenting opinion. We should have taxes. We shouldn't have taxes. We should have this. We shouldn't have this. But there should be conversation, and where you go, the majority opinion is going to be where we go. But you shouldn't be able to keep this judge that went loony. This federal judge lifting the mask mandate, and I go, you lifted it. So now when I get on a plane, I'm going to wear my mask. That's my choice, which I'm still allowed to do. At least you didn't take that away from me, like you want to take away a woman's right to choose abortion. And whether you agree with it or not, it still should be her choice, because you want a right to choose about whether or not to wear a mask, but you don't want to give the other person next to you the right to choose whether or not they should have an abortion. So in this case, when you get on a plane, you get to wear a mask if you want. And if you don't, then all those people that don't wear masks and don't want to get vaccinated, they will suffer the consequences. And we may find out that they were right, but I'm guessing not. With 1 million people dead, I'm guessing not.
Well, no, I think the whole thing is that if you don't want to wear a mask, I'm not going to sit up here and waste breath over you. I'm going to wear my mask, and fine. Look, let me know where you're going to die, and I'll send flowers to your funeral. Bottom line, for all of you non-maskers, yeah, go ahead. Text me, DM me, call me. I don't care, okay? The science has proven the fact that the most significant way of preventing the spread or catching COVID is wearing a mask. So now all of a sudden they get this Trump-appointed judge who pops up and says, oh, I'm going to overturn the federal mandate, which I'll tell you what, you don't want people to wear masks on public transportation, then fine. Don't wear your mask, get on an airplane, fly to Hawaii, and let me know how you feel.
I think, why don't you just, as long as you're flying, just keep going right past Hawaii and go to Ukraine.
Hey, there you go. We'll just paint a big Z on her behind and let her run through Ukraine, okay? All right. So, speaking of airplanes, former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. Now, he's been known to get into some bouts. He got into a street fight with Mitch Green, in which, everybody knew who won that fight because Mitch Green, I told everybody, Lord, I saw Mike Tyson buy the leather coat.
Okay, this what happened. I was on the plane and I told to the guy, look, you need to wear a mask because I don't want to catch no disease because I'm the heavyweight champion and I will clobber you, but I don't want no COVID.
No. So what happens is that this guy sees Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson has been actually tempered down because of legalized marijuana. In fact, he has a product that's Mike Tyson gummies that are shaped like ears. Yeah, you think he should be sending some money to Holyfield for that idea? But so he gets on an airplane on his way to Hawaii to promote his marijuana gummies. Somebody sees Mike Tyson in his not so radical or aggressive stance and starts yelling at Mike. Mike doesn't respond, so he starts throwing spitballs at Mike. Mike doesn't respond, so he throws his bottle at Mike. This is what happens when you poke the bear. Chaz, run that video. Now, as you can see, this guy is no longer brave and thinking that, hitting Mike Tyson with a water bottle was a great idea. You see him catching all them lefts and rights?
Well, unfortunately, I can't see anything, so I didn't get to see it. But I used to live in Las Vegas. Mike was there. I've met Mike a couple times. He can be the nicest, sweetest guy, but when you poke the bear, it's not a good move. And if you think, oh, he won't hit me, he only does that in the ring, you are mistaken.
Well, you think this guy would have saw the Mitch Green video? You don't want to get into a street fight with Mike Tyson. You don't want to get into an airplane fight with Mike Tyson. Even at his age and lack of shape, Mike still got some skills.
Well, he doesn't even need the skills. I mean, what we forget is when you're in a ring with anybody and you've got these big gloves on and a guy knocks you out with those, now you take the gloves off and you got a bare hand. I mean, we're so used to watching movies where a fight is 10, 12, 20, 30 punches and kicking and stuff like that. Real fights are 1 or 2 punches, and that's it. I'm sure you've seen your fair share of fights. I've seen guys come out and, poke the bear, and the guy one swing, and that's fight's over. You hit the guy right, they're down and over. And it's not the MMA where you've been training and you get up. And even in the MMA, those guys, when someone goes down, the referee comes in, stops it. You want to get the thing out of his mouth, make sure he's okay, get him to the hospital. I mean, we're so used to watching film where we think, oh, Mike Tyson, he'll hit me, I'll hit him back. No, you won't.
Oh, man. See,
that guy hit Mike Tyson's fist with his face. And
repeatedly.
He attacked Mike's fist with his face. And, I've never yet to see a fight win, a guy win that fight. Yes. So after he provoked Mike Tyson, he proceeded to repeatedly ram his face in multiple fists, at 30 hits a second. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, brilliant strategy. I think that chalks up to 2 things. One, entitlement has nothing to do with a man who is unfiltered. Okay. My dad was a tough guy. He was 5'6". People used to pick on him and stuff like that.
Your dad used to box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to box, but he got into some scrapes and he hit a couple people. He was in, I mean, he's long gone, so I can tell anything now. But he was in a party one night and a guy came up and he has a drink and the guy took his finger and put it in his drink and started swirling it around. And my dad, what are you doing? Please don't do that. And he took the drink, put it down, went to the bar and got another drink, came back and the guy found him and did it again. He says, you don't want to do that. And he says, no, I do. He said, well, if you do it again, it'll be the last time you do something like that. He puts the drink down a second time and gets another drink. And the guy put his finger in the third drink. My dad hit him a shot and they were on the ground floor and knocked him out a window of where they were through the window. And then sued my dad. And my dad had to pay. He had to settle. But I never heard of the guy putting his finger in anybody's drink again. And my dad settled just so he didn't have to go to court. But,
I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it happened to me. Okay.
What happened to you?
Okay. So now this is after I got my second black belt and was celebrating at a nightclub in another state, and we were out, having a great time. All the, I'm young, I'm in the club, good looking, lots of money because I just won a match. I'm buying drinks. Okay, this tough guy comes over, and well, I'm at that time. Still 6'1". At that time, I think I weighed maybe 225. I mean, I'm in solid fighting weight. I'm in heavyweight division, which is a lot of people don't hear or is just recently becoming popular for mixed martial arts, but very little people would want to fight with me.
Well, you know more about this than I do, hitting people and getting hit. I mean, it's one or two hits and that's it. This crap.
That's all it is.
Right.
That's all it is. A street fight shouldn't take no longer than it at the most 60 seconds. If anybody knows what they're doing. Bottom line is bang, bang, boom. Somebody's either choked out or knocked out.
If you and I got into a street fight, it would be all of 60 seconds. It would be 58 seconds of me running until you caught me.
Well, okay. So dude basically insults, one of the women that I'm with, right? Then he throws the drink in my face. I hit him a couple of times, then I choke him out. Next thing you know, I'm being sued.
And that's what people do. They want to look, and so how did you resolve that? Did you just settle or did you? No. Did you win? Did you go ahead? Did you?
I won because there were like
as you should have.
There were 20 people who testified and said that I wasn't the aggressor, and I expressed to him that that if he continued on in that action, it would not end well for him, and his response was "FUB."
Well, so his response can be whatever it was, but he lost, as he twice.
Of course.
Once in a fight and once in court.
Yeah. And, and then, once I was entitled to actually whoop people behind and get away with it in court, I started doing it on a full-time basis. But we'll be right back. It's Freestyle Friday. I'm Vincent Squire with my co-host today, the great Sandy Hackett. We'll be right back. 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Okay, we're out.
Yeah. In fact, when they testified in court, they said that he was really tough. And then once he got punched in the face a couple of times, he started screaming like a girl.
Look, was he drunk? Probably inebriated. I mean, the courage level goes up when you've had a couple of drinks.
Oh, yeah. Nothing that makes people braver than a couple of shots of panther piss. But
exactly. And I just... I mean, my dad was a scrapper. He used to fight, and I remember when I was growing up, and I said something to him one time. He says, "You want to go at it? You want to take on your old man?" I said, "I do not. I have a disagreement with you, but it's verbal. I said, I am not interested in getting my ass kicked.
Listen, here's the story of my dad. Now, I got my first black belt. I was like maybe 14 years old. I was happy celebrating. I won the tournament. I got my black belt. I won the tournament. I was really, really, feeling myself. I think I maybe just finally broke over 5 feet 6 inches. And I wanted to go to the party and everybody was celebrating. And my dad was like, no, you're not going. I was like, that's it. I hate this house. I can't wait till I turn 18 so I can get out. My father picked me up over his head, took me to the front window and said, how far out of this house do you want to
go? Great stories now, terrifying at the time.
See, now it's called child abuse. See, back then it was called discipline.
Yes. And so you're a black belt. I took karate. I was a white belt, and I tried to test up. And as they were giving out all the belts, they said you're now what was after? I think it was
1 minute warning.
After white was orange or green or blue or until you got up to brown and black. And they said Sandy Hackett. I said yes. They said you have a clear belt. I said, what is that? They said, it's as far below white as you can go.
We had to imagine a color of belt for you.
10 seconds. You want me just to go right in?
Yeah, just go in. Even though we're talking,
okay.
We're having fun. Let's just
go in right now.
So yeah. Well, look, my first teacher in martial arts was my uncle, who was a Navy SEAL, Richard Hazard. They called him Haphazard. I mean, he was as stocky and as tough as a man as I ever known in my life. I mean, he was just great. He had taught me some things that I have won tournaments with and got disqualified for tournaments from using. But anyway, so for those of you on Facebook, Roku, YouTube, you know that the Between the Breaks is probably the best part of the show. And it's probably going to be the best part in Chaz's book, my producer. But so speaking of slap, since we're on the subject of people getting slapped, all right, this young high school kid, Karen, she gets bitch slapped. Okay, White Henry County High School student captured on camera calling a black student the N-word. Now, this young teenager.
Let me just stop you for 1 second, because you said the N-word, but you're black. Are you not allowed to say the N-word? Is that something you choose?
Oh no, I'm allowed to say the N-word. I earned that. Okay, but it's something that I choose not to say that, because I think that I should lead by example. If I don't want other people to say it, I shouldn't say it either.
But and that's fine, and I respect that, and thank you for clarifying that. My concern is that when anybody says the N-word, we know what it is. It's not like we don't know what anybody's talking about. And again, with a word like that, when we say it with malice, then it's mean. But when I hear different people say it in different ways, I say, well, there's no malice intended. It's just the way it is. My daughter, who's 16, is listening to rap all the time, and that word is very prevalent in there and stuff like that. So to me, it's a double-edged sword, but I respect your choice, and I choose also not to say it because I don't feel like getting anything. I don't want to get hit. Continue with the story, because what she did was heinous.
But no, you're absolutely right. And in fact, I've been in situations where people of the same color or of color, black, brown, whatever the case may be, at one point in time, it was a term of endearment when they would call you, yeah, yo, that's my N right there. Like, right. I am nobody's N. Okay, bottom line. So no, I don't use it. I don't pretend to use it. I don't even want to use it. I'll say the B word before I say the N word.
Right.
Okay?
And, Richard Pryor was very famous for using it. And then when he had a series of accidents and he went off to Africa, and he said, and when he came back, he says, I no longer want to talk like that or use that word. And he quit using it.
Well, you look at a lot of comedians or a lot of entertainers use the N word for shock value. Okay. First, people were shocked about him saying it. And third, they're, it can be humorous. And I understand that. I would never, ever, 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 interfere or, try to stop a man in his hustle, be a comedian or wherever the case may be. If that's how you're making your money, because rappers do it on a regular. In fact, I can't even play music because of the language, but, it's just not what I choose to do.
Okay. But let's go back to the story now, because I think this is very important that a Karen goes and thinks it's okay to go and call somebody something and slap somebody. It's terrible.
Okay. So watch the video. What happens after she calls this black teenage girl the N-word? Chaz, can we see it?
Yeah, there would be no way for me to do that.
Okay, can you do it if you share your screen?
I guess I could, but then I'm filming.
Would it help if I put on a wig and slap Vincent?
That would help.
That would be really good, especially since you're in California. Then we got to go into that 48 seconds of you running.
So with the clip itself, just to clarify, there was no video of her actually being slapped. It was just a video up until she was slapped. There was no news station, no nothing had this video of her actually being hit. So
right. Well, since there was no news station that had this and saw it, basically what everybody saw and they posted was her yelling at this young lady the N-word. The results of it was the young African-American woman, a Henry County High School teenager in Locust Grove, Georgia, proceeded to slap the cowboy spit out of this young Karen. One of them John Waynes where her hands back in Texas and then pop. But here's the thing. People who have seen the slap, people who have seen her call her the N-word, now there's this big divide because nothing happened to the young white Karen who instigated and started the incident, but the young black teenager was suspended and they pressed charges.
Well, you got a confluence of things happening here. What she did was heinous and terrible, but unfortunately in that part of the country, people think that somehow she's been raised to think that that's okay. The youth that she insulted and used the word on used violence. And
15-year-old. So
right.
she slapped Will Smith out of her.
Right. So and it was a guy against a girl. He was a boy. Yeah. It's a boy that she said, and a boy, if I'm not mistaken here about what you sent me, it says that she using the N-word on a black male student. The male is then seen slapping the female.
No. The male. She used it on the male. The male was then the male went and slapped the female. Yes.
Right. So, you've got, he has every right to defend himself verbally. When you get to physical, then, and look, I understand how he feels, because when someone insults you, you want to slap somebody or hit them or whatever. But when we go to the physical, that's when, you get into a court, and now this is why, and he's being whatever, even though I believe the laws down there or the whoever's adjudicating all this doesn't make it fair. Well, he sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Well, names do hurt, and that's wrong. And what she did was wrong, but if he could have found some other way besides slapping her to yell at her or, but now you got a male slapping a woman. It's all terrible, but it started with her instigating it. So, and her parents have the right to sue. Then you're going to go to a court that in that part of the country may be very pro the Karen,
pro-white.
And so he ends up on the really short end of the stick, even though he didn't do anything except defend his honor and wanted to let her know that it's not okay to talk to me in that manner.
Okay, so tell me something. As egregious as the word is, I mean, should a woman or anyone do that and not or be surprised about the consequences?
Well, I think if you grow up in a household where your parents talk like that and make you think that that's acceptable language, then you think that it's okay to demean someone else and don't expect them to retaliate. Your parents have taught you that they're less than you and that you may treat them how you want, and therefore they'll take it because they don't know better. But guess what? That's not the truth.
Yeah, because that language is only acceptable in your house. When you take it outside,
it's not acceptable in your house either. It's permitted in your house, but it's not acceptable in your house. And your parents shouldn't be teaching you that. And what she did was heinous and wrong. And the law and the courts and the system down there is all wrong. And this kid's going to end up on the short end of he gets suspended or whatever because he used physical things. Now, can we counsel anybody here? You as a black man, can you counsel a young black youth being called the N-word? How do you respond to that in a way that at least keeps you on an equal footing and maybe doesn't land you in court? They just say, well, you shouldn't have done that, or you get suspended for a day, or you both get suspended. But as soon as you get, in a basketball game, when two players are going at it, it's always the second guy who pushes back that gets the technical. But when we see the guy says, hey, your mama, and the other guy goes, your mama, and you get double technicals. But what do you say if you're the young black man and the white girl has said that to you? How do you get out of this predicament and still defend yourself?
Okay, so what do you do when you're a young black man and you have just been humiliated, demoralized, and emasculated, all in one word?
Okay, so humiliated, demoralized, and emasculated. You are those things if you believe those things about yourself. If your upbringing, and when I'm talking to you, you're a proud American. You also happen to be a black man, but someone calling me as a Jew, whatever the Jew word, the K word, that doesn't demoralize me. That just shows me what a moron you are, that you want to call me that. When someone wants to use the N-word and call somebody that shows me what they are. That doesn't demoralize. I understand that when you're young, 15, you may, but your parents should have brought you up in a place to go, look, you may get called this, but that doesn't make you any less of a person. And you have every right to say to them, that's a mistake. That word is
well, see, in the mindset of a 15-year-old, your parents may have brought you up to be better, to understand that you are a heck of a lot more than what that person is calling you. Yet as a 15-year-old, you're thinking that, okay, I may be better than that, but this is what everyone else perceives it to be. And a response like that takes immediate and swift action.
Yeah, but you have kids, right?
I do.
So what do you teach them what did you teach them when they were younger, when someone is going to be racist, how to handle it?
Stick and move, baby. Stick and move.
And that's fine. Stick and move is great.
I'm kidding because
I understand. But we know that exists, and we know that, look, if you're on the street and nobody's around and it's not in school, whatever happens is going to happen, and no one's going to see it. He could have slapped her, and no one ever saw it. Could have been just the two of them somewhere out walking home, and no one ever saw it. And as he said, she said, I don't know what happened to her.
See, let me tell you the honest to God truth. Two things. First, I am a product of a mixed race family. Okay. So that's one thing. So we never ever explored racism in that level. we more discuss it as not a person's color that makes them an idiot or ignorant, because what we found out is that no particular race has the actual benchmark on ignorance. They're everywhere. But what we did find is this, or what my parents told me was this, is that you can let their words use that to hurt you, or you can let your actions prove them wrong, and which we've been doing, and we're fine, and I'm okay with that. However, when I got married and had children, I taught my children martial arts. So, like, if anybody, was disrespecting to my daughter or any of my children, no, they got a kick or a punch, and I got to call to the principal. Now, I'm not saying that, I am the world's greatest and perfect parent. But what I am saying is that, a child has to find for themselves the right way and how they feel about themselves and how they want to project what others see in them, or how they want other people to treat them. Because I'm a firm believer that you teach people how to treat you. And absolutely, one thing that young girl got a lesson of is how to treat that young man.
Well, we hope, because now her parents are standing behind her. She's going to court. She got away with saying it. She got hit. Now they're suing. She may end up with a settlement. We don't know what the result of that's going to be unless it's been decided. I don't know.
Come on. We know. They're in Georgia. You know what? A black man attacking a white girl was the basis behind the most prejudiced movie in the world, called The Birth of a Nation, where it took the Klan to save the virtues of this one white woman.
Yes.
Against this black man. Come on, Sandy.
Vincent, absolutely. Yeah. But we don't know what the end result is. So until we can't comment, go and project, we know what we think will happen, but we can't project for sure. But in any case, every parent, every black parent should be teaching their child. If someone uses the N-word towards you, it doesn't demean you in any way. It demeans them, because it shows how ignorant they are to want to call you something that you're not. So don't be demoralized. Don't be the other two words you use, because that doesn't apply here. That them calling you that doesn't make you that.
Okay, so we're going to teach our children once again. I'm rubber, you're glue. It bounce off me, sticks to you. Now, I'm going to slap her, okay?
No, and that's fine. But if you're going to slap her,
look, we're going to go fund me, go fund every black kid that slaps some white kid that calls them the N-word. I mean,
but don't do it where you can get caught. So that
I'm kidding. Yeah, don't do it where you get caught. Yeah,
I'm not. Because sometimes, that look, in the jungle, it's the law of the jungle, and we're humans and we're supposed to be civilized. But unfortunately, if you're in school and there's teachers and principal and security around, yes, then everybody gets to have an opinion. But it's just, you're out in somewhere and nobody saw except the two of you, then you're going to go, something like, you get home, what happened? Well, I got slapped by a boy. Did you do anything? No, I didn't do anything. Are you sure? No. Then they'll go call the police, and the police will go and he'll say, well, she called me this. But it's a lose-lose situation, but everybody's got to defend themselves in some way. So, but you can't let it be mental where someone calls you something and you say, oh, that they're right. I'm that.
Sandy, I was a lieutenant in the Army. And I had this sergeant that called me the N-word. And after I beat him down, I went before the colonel. The colonel said, good job, Lieutenant. Come on. At some point in time, we got to say that word, that behavior is not acceptable.
But I can't subscribe to that, because it's not acceptable when it's used with malice. But when it's used as friendly, or black people calling each other or whatever, I go, look, if that's your choice, yeah, there may be better choices. But when it's, my daughter who's 16 and Jewish walking around calling everybody bro, yeah, bro, hey, bro, yeah, and I go, I didn't grow up with calling everybody bro, but that's where she's going to school and she's picking that language up. And I hope one day she outgrows it. Nice to meet you, bro.
Sandy, I applaud you for having a teenage daughter that calls everybody bro, or the breakdown, or a short slang version for brother. I applaud that. We need more of that. But having a teenage daughter that calls a young black man the N-word, no. Come on. You can put them up for Parent of the Year?
But I don't know why my daughter can't call everybody their name. Why everything has to be bro?
Because it's popular. You've never been a teen that wanted to be popular?
Yes, I was a teen. And my father, when I would tell him something, so everybody does it. And my father would say, I don't give a shit.
Everybody jumped off a building, would you go to, right?
Well, he just said, I don't give a shit what everybody's doing.
Oh, God, I love your dad.
We're going to the beach. What for? Well, everybody's going. So what? Is there a girl you want to go be? Well, yeah, there's a girl. Okay, so it's not that everybody's going. You want to go be with a girl, or you want to go be with your friends, or you want to go lay out in the sun, but it's not because everybody's going.
Hold on. I'm Vincent Squire. For those of you on Comcast, we're going to sign off at 6 o'clock, but you can still catch this conversation for a little while longer. What you got to say? Roku, Facebook, YouTube. Look for my picture, and we're going to continue the conversation. I'm Vincent Squire. For those of you with on Comcast, God bless. Have a great weekend. If God's will, we'll see you Monday. Peace. Okay, go ahead, Sandy.
No, I'm done. If we allow words to impugn who we are and buy into that, then we're not strong enough. We've got to be stronger than that. We've got to raise our kids that way, and we've got to be stronger that way and go, okay, you called me whatever. When you call me asshole or dickhead or bitch or N-word or whatever, I got to go, yeah, that's what you call me. It doesn't make me any of those things.
True. And I agree with that. But also, if we're going to raise our children to actually understand that, shouldn't we also raise our children to not do that, not call people out of their names? Because words do hurt. They do hurt.
Yes, but there's times when you call your friends something else, asshole, bitch, dumb shit, and it's because they did something that either upset you or was stupid. And look, I did something stupid today. I go walk every day. I put my sunglasses on. I put my regular glasses in my glasses case. I put it in my jacket. It was hot out. I took my jacket. I wrapped it around my waist. And when I got home, my glasses were gone. So now I have an old pair of glasses. So I was a dumb shit. But I did it to me. So, and when I tell my wife, she's going to go, "What are those glasses?" "Yeah, I lost them today." "Well, that wasn't very bright." "No, it wasn't. But, that's what I did."
Yes, but you expressed that level of colloquialism within the safety of you and your wife. That's the difference. I can understand what you say in the privacy of your own home. In fact, look, I could care less what you do in the privacy of your own home. Yet there are some social guidelines and morals in which we should teach our children. One of them should be not to call a young black child the N-word, or a black child to call a white kid the other word. None of those things work. We've gone into a society of unfiltered verbalization.
Right, and the problem.
Exactly. And at some point, our children run into other children who aren't tolerant.
Right. And the problem with those words, as you well know, is they are learned.
True.
If you put a black baby and a white baby in a bassinet together when they're first born, they aren't fighting. They will put their arms around each other and seek comfort from one another. And it isn't until we teach our children to be mean to others and to have disrespect for somebody's other whatever, that
differences.
It's learned behavior.
True. I gotta agree with that 100%, because when I studied child psychology and observing children, you can put children in any nationality, okay, up until the age of 5 years old, and they will find, even if they don't speak the same language, they will find a way to play together. But yet at some particular point in time, they learn about the differences of others, and they stop looking at the humanity in the other person, and they start focusing more on the difference of the other person, and all the cliches come to their mind. So the prejudice or prejudgment of that person based upon their race, creed, color, or religion is prevalent. And we need to stop that.
I agree, and it's going to take us a long time to do that, probably a few hundred years. And with people like Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Josh Hawley and Jim Jeffries and Matt.
And what's that other one who was dating underage children?
Yeah, Matt pedophile, I believe is his last name.
Yeah.
And if those are your examples, and they're going to teach. And then they're going to lie about, oh, no, I didn't do that. Oh, really? We have all kinds of, hopefully he'll go to jail. Anyway, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and learn from you and exchange ideas with you. And I thank you for having me.
Well, I thank you too, Sandy. But maybe next Friday we'll discuss the unslapping of a Black woman finally named valedictorian after 38 years.
It's nice that they did that, but it's late.
Damage is already done.
Yeah, I mean, she had something taken from her, and I don't know how you make that up to someone. Apologizing is a start, but 38 years ago she deserved it, but they didn't give it to her. Why? Because she was Black. How terrible.
Yeah. Well, Sandy, tell people where they can find you.
SandyHackett.com.
All right. And you do personal appearances, and you also talk about heart health.
Yes, I do talk about heart health, and I'm preparing to go out as a speaker and talk about heart health and go to corporations and schools and stuff like that, having suffered my own thing. And it's really simple. I'm not a doctor. I'm just, someone that, suffered and go, you know what, I can help you. And it's just about choices, life choices. And it's up to everybody. Everybody can help themselves. All you got to know is, do I drink a soda with 39 grams of sugar? Or do I have water?
Yeah.
Well, it may not taste good, but you'll live longer and you'll be much healthier. Your quality of life will be improved.
No, I'm always reminded of that W.C. Phil skit where, he finds a glass, he picks it up, he drinks it, then he goes, water. All right, Sandy, I love you. It's great. I love exchanging ideas and concepts with you. I think you got a really brilliant mind, and look forward to seeing you. But in terms of health, maybe we'll see you on one of our Wellness Wednesdays.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Take care. Have a good week. Bye, Chaz.
Hey, see you, Sandy.
All right.
All right. So for those of you who are still left on our streaming channels, it's Free Friday, and we try to have a lot of laughter and joy and laugh at some of the sickest things that happen in our society and life. But one thing that is really hard to laugh at is the slap and sting of prejudice and racism. As Sandy talked about it, it's a learned behavior. It's something that we teach our children. Now, I don't know about you, and no, I'm not trying to be parent of the year, but I am trying to be a parent of a good child. And for me to do that, then I have to teach my child that people are people and humanity is humanity. When we start looking at the things that divide us, we no longer focus on what unites us. One of the biggest things that unite us is that we all have feelings. We all bleed. We all love. But yet we want to change that to all hate because of indifferences. Think of what you say in the examples that you do for your children. The life you save or the slap you save may be that of your child's. So be careful about your kitchen table talk and express that even though that we do have our differences, we do have a lot that unite us. I'm Vincent Squire on behalf of myself, the great Sandy Hackett, and my production team, Chaz. Everyone, have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday. God bless.
Nice sign off. Good stuff. Dude, when you did that sign off at 6 o'clock, I could have kissed you if you were close enough to me. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. I couldn't believe you're like, hold on, Sandy, let me say goodbye to Comcast. You're a good man. Good work.
Oh, yeah, just working on being a constant professional.
Hey man, every day we get a little better, you know.
That's the idea. If we don't grow, then
what are we doing? Yeah, great stuff. Really, really good work. That was a great show. Did I lose you?